All right, coach, coming off another weekend split against Merrimack. You guys bounced back Saturday. Ethan Hayter in goal, scored four. Andrew Lucas game winner. Just want to get a couple brief thoughts on that weekend and then heading into big matchup against number four Boston College.
Yeah, we were definitely disappointed the way we ended the game Friday night. I was happy with the response we had on Saturday. But we're trying to play more consistent weekend of 6 periods. I feel like we haven't been able to put that together lately, and that's certainly going to be the goal going into this weekend. And we know we have quite the task in front of us with Boston College. I think they're good in all aspects of the game. They've got great goaltending so far this year. They've got a very mobile defense, and they got elite forwards up front. Good special teams. They're well coached. It's going to be a great opponent for us to play this weekend.
Awesome. All right, we'll open it up for questions. Go ahead, Joe. You can start us off. You're muted, Joe.
Words a lot of people in Connecticut would like to hear. Good morning, Cav. How are you?
Good morning, Joe.
It must be so frustrating to try to figure out why the inconsistency. When you and the assistants go back and look at previous games, is there any one or two things that stand out?
Well, I would say last week it was just the last 8 minutes of the third period. We were playing a pretty good game up until that point. Until we took that major penalty, I think Merrimack had only had one shot on net in the third period. And it was a 4-3 game, and we were playing pretty well. We just self-destructed there, let frustrations get the best of us, and didn't give ourselves a chance to come back in that game. In other weekends, it's been a myriad of things. It's been, sometimes lack of goal scoring. That's been an issue. I think special teams play as of late, it's been pretty good. But earlier on in the season, our power play was not scoring goals. So
thank you.
I don't know if you can point to just one thing, Joe. It was just been, a bunch of things that, probably have led to the inconsistency.
Was it a difficult decision to replace Argeni on Friday night? I mean, that's kind of goes against some things that you always do, to pull a goalie in the middle of the game for kind of rare.
Yes and no. It's not something I do often. You've watched a lot of our games. I usually let the goaltender work his way out of any type of struggles they might have, but I just felt that at that point, Ethan was going to give us the best chance to win that hockey game going forward.
And one BC question is to start that kid line. How do they complement one another, Leonard and Smith and Perot? I mean, obviously they've got experience from playing together for the national team, but what do you see as their big strengths?
Well, they all complement each other pretty well. I mean, they're all skilled players from the standpoint of they can handle a puck. They're smart. They have high IQs. They're all first rounders for a reason. Leonard brings a real physical element to the team, and Smith is dynamic with his skating and playmaking, and Perot's off to a great start as well. I think he leads their team in scoring right now.
Thank you.
Randy, we'll head over to you.
Thanks, Colin. Good morning, Cav. How you doing today?
Good morning, Randy. I'm great, thanks.
All right. Hey, I know a couple weeks ago we talked that you want to see Nick Capone shoot it more. We talk about his goal because I mean I feel like that was what you were kind of alluding to, getting in the slot and grip and rip, and he got behind it and got on the board.
Yeah, I thought he had probably his best weekend of the year. last weekend. You know, he was physical on Friday night and helped create that first goal, Hudson's goal. And then he scored the power play goal to get us on the board Saturday night and made a great play to Ryan Massey for the third goal. So we're going to need his contributions, that's for sure. When he's going, he provides a real physical element for us and, you know, gives us another layer of offense. That's for sure.
When it comes to him and guys like Bradley, I mean, you got a lot of guys that play physical. I know you alluded to it Friday night, and then they cleaned it up Saturday. So, I mean, how do you channel playing physical to to your strength without the penalties and playing the kind of disciplined hockey you want to see?
Well, the issue Friday night wasn't physicality. That was stupidity. I mean, that was just frustration and taking unnecessary penalties. I think, you know, when you're taking a lot of penalties, I was reading something that Gino said about his team took a lot of fouls against North Carolina State. And he says, you know, you foul when you're in poor position and you have bad technique. And I think the same thing happens in hockey. When you see a hooking or a tripping, it's usually a guy behind the play. He's not in great defensive position. And when you see a guy take an elbowing penalty or a high sticking, it's because his stick isn't on the ice and it's poor technique. So if you can really focus on, you know, on your foot, you know, you defend with your legs and being in good position and your technique is good, you're not going to take as many penalties. It has nothing to do with how hard you hit people. Occasionally you may get those penalties, but I think every coach in the country has no problem killing those penalties if it's because you hit a guy too hard.
Lucas's game-winning goal, it's kind of like a video game, man. He came down the left, like it just like kept it. Can you talk about specifically his patience to keep the puck and what, you know, how that helps him create? He obviously gets a ton of assists. In this case, it was a goal, but is he like, you know, like among the most patient puck handlers, you know, in the league?
He's very good, yes. And I think you see a lot of the top defensemen who have a lot of assists. They don't panic with the puck. And I think that's a great attribute that Andrew has. He also, you know, uses his legs to get himself in position. Like that play there, you know, he took it behind the net, wheeled out, and ripped the shot up to upstairs. So he's playing really well for us right now. And we're going to need him to.
Okay, thank you. See you Saturday.
Sounds good, Randy.
Dan, we'll head over to you.
I was watching Jim Pender's talk with Gino on the video that went out, and he said that sometimes he'll bring baseball recruits up to Gino's office, even if he's not there. Just curious, with your relationship with Gino, have you ever brought kids up to his office?
I have, but I don't anymore because it extends the visit about another hour when I do that. He just can't stop talking to the guys. So if I do, it's a quick hello and tell him, Coach, we got to get moving here today. So no, he's so good. I think one of the things, and he reminds me a lot of Jerry York, is that you know, they're so invested in the college way of life, and they understand what college athletics is all about. And it's not just about them and their program. They're invested in everybody else's program. And yeah, I mean, he's texting me the other day right after our loss. You okay? What's going, you know, how you doing? And I think he's like that with all the sports here. He's just really, he loves UConn. He loves everything about UConn athletics, and he wants us all to be successful. So I'm really fortunate throughout my coaching career to have see how Jerry operated on one hand and how Gino operates on another. And there's no, it's not a coincidence that they both also have over 1,000 wins. They just do things the right way.
And since we're on the recruiting trail, you mentioned a few weeks back that you had brought a recruit through Freitas just to show him where you used to play. After all those years you spent in there, did you ever think that Freitas would then turn into a recruiting tool?
just think it's important to show where you came from. I think it's always important to never forget your roots, you know? I actually look out my window in my office now and see the Freitas, and it reminds me of all the guys that came here, you know, knowing that there wasn't a rink and that was going to be their rink, and they came here for the right reasons. And, you know, we almost won a Hockey East championship playing out of that rink, not this new rink. And I think it's a good reminder of, yeah, this is a beautiful state-of-the-art facility, and I'm so glad our players can use this and utilize the resources here to get better. But you know, it was built on the backs of a lot of guys that came here without this, and I think that's always important, and you should never forget that.
Then just ahead to this weekend, health-wise, how you doing?
Okay. I think we're all right. As of right now, we got a few guys kind of battling, you know, the typical cold and whatnot, but I think right now we're going to be okay.
What about Jake Valou? It's kind of getting to the 4 to 6, I think that you said. Is he getting closer?
I don't foresee him coming back in the first half. I think we're looking more likely to probably be the second half of the season.
Great. Thanks.
Yep.
Anything else for Coach, guys?
I have
Go ahead,
one.
Joe.
Coach, good morning. By the way, a pleasure to watch the game from down there where you see it on Saturday night. Very interesting. Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
Except I can't see over your goalie. He's too big.
You gotta get closer.
Is it too early in is it too early in the season to find out a lot about your team on a weekend like this against a really, really good team?
No, I don't think it's too early in the season. I think, listen, I have the utmost respect for Boston College, you know, and they're a great team. But, you know, the way the league is this year, it's every weekend's dogfight. It's a battle. It's, you know, and I think BC would tell you the same thing. I mean, they're just coming off. I watched a couple of their games against Maine, and that was a heck of a hockey series. And it's just, you know, I think every weekend, Joe, is really a tough weekend in this league, and you just got to stay focused on that. And I'm not really too focused on trying to use this as a benchmark to see where we are as a team. It's a league opponent that we have the utmost respect for, and we're going to have to bring our A game if we want to be successful.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Joe D, you got something?
Yeah. Hey, Calf, how big of a factor in hockey is the NIL money? We hear about it talked about in some other sports so much. Is it big for you and Hockey East programs?
I can't speak for the other programs. You know, I think there's certainly you know, I don't know, I probably have a different theory on it than most. I think I think it was a good thing that players were able to monetize their name, image, and likeness. However, I don't think the university should be putting together collectives so the players can do that. I think that's their job, you know, and I'm all for it. If they want to go out and get a car deal and make money on their name, go ahead. If they want to do Instagram posts and make money, that's great. I'm all for it. But I think, you know, I'm probably going off on a tangent here a little bit, but I think if a school is asking its donors to put together a pot of money so they can pay their players that are already getting a full scholarship and all send money and cost of attendance, I'm not sure that was the intent of allowing these guys to, you know, like I said, make money off their name, image, and likeness. So to answer your question, it hasn't been a huge factor with us. But we'll see in the future. I don't know where that's going.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm more worried about stopping BC's power play than I am NIL money.
I figured as much. But it's been such a topic at some other sports that I wanted to see how hockey played into it.
Yeah.